Hoo-wee. Guess who's back? People, yo, man, I don't even know where to start. Is it Happy New Year? Happy 2026? Happy Cabbage Month? Because i-diet yethu yale nyanga izawuba nekhaphetshu nje noba ulifrayile noba uliboyilile noba uliqhotsile noba ulojile, you're bound to have cabbage. Hey, jokes aside. Anyway, people, good evening. Welcome to it. It is a Monday, the 5th day of 2026. It is season 2 and episode 20 of the Slyso TV podcast. Well, let me tell you this. This was not the plan. As a result, the whole team is still on extended holiday. It's just me, myself, and I, because there's a lot that's been going on in this country and in the world and everywhere, and we don't want to miss out, or we don't want to miss a beat as far as that one is concerned, man. There's just been a lot. How have you been? How have you been? And by the way, if you are watching live, please, whether you are on Facebook or you are on YouTube, make sure that you make use of our comment section, because most of the stuff that we're going to be talking about has to do with you, has to do with me, has to do with us, has to do with the world, has to do with any and everything that you can think of. But I think, first of all, whether you pray to Allah, you pray to God, uqamata, izinyanya, maybe you should just take this one tiny little moment. Let's all give it to say thank you that we made it to 2026 in one piece. It is the Slyso TV podcast. Welcome to it. I don't know. Yeah. What happened with that intro? Because I'm just trying to process everything. Where do we start? Right? But all I need is you to give us your comment, please. I want to make it that a special episode where we get to interact, whether you're sharing about how beautiful your break was, the time that you took off, whether it's about your experience on the road. Some people are traveling. At some point, I think it was towards the first, they were saying that that they are expecting at least 1 million cars on the N3, 1 million and a bit on the N2, 1 million and a bit. And these are people that are on the road. Some of you made it and had your first day at work. I wonder how it was. Just share that with me. I'm sure you guys, nobody libel any passwords getting to work. You even forgot your password. But yeah, whether it's sharing about your first day at work, your holiday, your experience, please share with us. But looking at the world and what has been going on, oh my goodness. Oh, there's a lot. Yes, I'm blind. I was kind of, it's nice. Yeah, of course, I'm still ugly, damn it. So, chinchwa indon. So, really? So, chinchwa indon. You shouty and shouty, you can't help it. But anyway, please ask other people to, let me see, has anybody sent us a message, welcome message? It is the 5th of January 2026. A very interesting year for a lot of people. A lot has been going on. Oh my goodness, guys. You will remember the US invaded Venezuela and arrested their president. Yeah, that's happening right now. But the most interesting thing about it is that a lot of things are now happening on social media platforms. And the crazy thing about it is that people have opinions. I don't think I've come across so much social media activity. And that's what our episode is going to center around. That busyness. So Trump says, hey, we have a drug dealer, in Latin America. We need to go fetch the drug dealer. Apparently, he's parading as a president. Let's go fetch him. And that's what he did. 2:00 in the morning, A lot of people didn't know that people that are coming to invade you, they have technology to switch off your lights. Apparently, that's what he did. Yeah, bombed a couple of army bases and air force bases in Venezuela, saying that all he's doing is just coming to fetch the president, take him to New York, which is where he is right now and where he was supposed to appear. Okay, the last time I checked before we came on air. Um, Very interesting. And man, the multitude of voices and people's opinions as far as that is concerned. He accuses him of being a drug dealer. And even before this takedown, he had already been bombing boats along the Venezuela sea line. Very interesting. And a lot of people are saying, hey, Trump into ifunayo, ufuna oil yase Venezuela. Of course, Venezuela is flipping rich, not just in oil. You talk diamonds, you talk gold, you talk, yeah, super rich. But the whole thing is around this president who stole or who won the election, okay? Kwendlela mnyama, okay? And there's a lady that has been pitted to be the official president of Venezuela who recently won a Nobel Peace Prize. You must remember, Trump was looking for that award. And upon her winning, she says, I'm going to dedicate this to Trump, to Mr. Orange. And she does that. And now we are sitting with a president who goes and invades a country and says that we are just looking for drug dealers. The next thing, he grabs the president, he grabs the alleged drug dealer, whisks him off to New York, and says he's going to stand trial today. But what they are going to do in the interim, they are going to run Venezuela up until an appropriate person is elected or selected, because electing means you're going on polls, you're going to vote, but we're going to find who the next person was. It happened to be the deputy president, okay? And the deputy president says, hey, thank you for that, but we are not going to dance to your tune. I don't know what it is that you think you are going to do, Trump. We are a sovereign country. We don't know why you took our president, blah, 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 and all of these things. But the biggest thing about it, coming across a lot of literature, stories, opinions from us who know nothing, who've never done history, okay, who come across it on social media platforms and do a little bit of research about Venezuela, about, stories that we come across. We learn that. China, and this is what I've been saying to people, China had signed a deal with Venezuela for the oil. You must remember, it's been free for all. The previous president said that we're going to nationalize, the oil, and we're going to get companies out, and they're going to come and they're going to give a big chunk of their profits to us. You remember the whole thing. And the trading has been done, or is being done in dollars. Now, I think I posted this on Facebook yesterday, saying that my personal opinion is that BRICS Plus, as much as we take it for granted, we find them going slow, there are countries within BRICS, namely China, Russia, India, Brazil. These guys have been proactive. Brazil is buying their grain from China. These countries are trading together. And the biggest thing about BRICS that people are missing, it is the fact that, remember that word, de-dollarization? De-dollarization? These were nations in BRICS that were saying that we need to change what was formalized after the Second World War by the United States of America that any form of trading, I think it goes as far back than that, that trading is going to be done in the dollar. All right. Well, other countries are saying, hey, that dollar better be backed by something. And then at some point it was changed, and then it was just a dollar. There was no backing it off with gold, which was the primary commodity to back the dollar with. They just scrapped that, and all they've done, they have just printed monies, and some like, oh, okay, cool, we're doing trade with you. We're just gonna go print. And somebody says, hey, what if you run out of paper or printing this shit? What's gonna happen? Do you have gold to back all of this up with? And that's what BRICS countries have been doing. Like, you will do the research yourself. I told you I want to make the episode very light and find out the countries that have the most gold reserves. Yeah, they've been put out there. It was France, it was London. Yeah. But BRICS countries are in the top 5. They're saying, like, we're here, we're knocking. And that is why they are saying that they're tired of being dictated to by the United States of America. China, someone was saying, 1973, it was as poor as us. Where's China sitting right now? They invested differently. They didn't build bombs. They didn't invade countries. They just built their economy, which is what happened with the Venezuela story, which is China said, hey, we want this oil of yours, rich crude oil. We want it. Not that thing they're busy mining and fracking in the United States of America. We want the real thing. Let's chat. Let's talk. So Venezuela and China talk. And they sign a deal, apparently, allegedly, 15-year deal. And they're going to be trading not in the dollar, they're going to be trading in the yuan, right? And apparently China incentivizes countries that actually do deals with them in their own currency. They'll give you like a 20% discount on whatever you are buying from them, right? Or they're buying from you. They sit and work out these deals. And they say, since you are trading in our currency, we're going to give you a discount. Yeah, you people in South Africa and your omotas and stuff, I'm shocked you when I goes on it. Yeah, discounts. That's why you're buying cars so cheap, I guess. Is this trade-offs? But anyway, don't take that to the bank. That's just my crazy ass opinion. But on the real, this is what China has done. And mind you, Donald Trump says that he's going to be taking over Venezuela. They're going to run the country. They're going to make sure that everybody that wants oil, they get oil, and people in Venezuela are going to make their money, blah, 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 and all of this nonsense. And guess what? China, they are boats or vessels that ferry this oil. They do not get touched by the United States of America. Probably today, they have collected a couple of tons of that oil. And this is what Trump is not telling you, that he is furious at the fact that de-dollarization is a reality. And a BRICS country is saying, ons kom vir jou, Buddha. So a lot of it has been said about it, man. A lot of people, obviously, his ego is in there as well. So he wants to be known as a powerful, then efficient fighter for countries' liberations, nations' liberations, and all kinds of things. And it's been proven the world over. Every country that the United States of America has invaded or rescued to give it democracy, to give it the people's free will to run the country. None of that has happened. Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi. What does Libya look like today? But anyway, if you missed out on all of this thing, you're like wondering, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? What are you saying, Slyso? What happened? Me, man, this is me kidini chap. And eventually, let me just give you that. Like, picked up this story just to bring you to speed in terms of like what's going on really.
The United States hit Venezuela with a large-scale strike early Saturday and said its president, Nicolas Maduro, had been captured and flown out of the country. Here's what to know. Multiple explosions and low-flying aircraft were seen in Caracas in the early hours of Saturday morning. Maduro's government immediately accused the US of an imperialist attack on civilian and military installations. US President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that Maduro had been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. He added that the operation was done in conjunction with US law enforcement. The apparent attack itself lasted less than 30 minutes. Trump said in his social media post that the strike was carried out successfully. It comes after the Trump administration has escalated pressure on Maduro, who has decried US military operations against alleged drug traffickers as a thinly veiled effort to oust him from power. It was not immediately clear who was running the country, and Maduro's whereabouts were not immediately known.
Yep. That's it, man. So he says, yo, I'm going to run Venezuela for you people. I'm going to make sure that American companies, they go in there, the equipment that was seized by the previous regime, we want that oil. He let it slip that it was all about oil. It wasn't really about capturing the president who is illegitimate and a drug dealer, right? So he skips to the next one, skips to the next one, skips to the next one, and it doesn't end there. This guy, question that everybody's asking. Now, China apparently has made a huge demand to the United States of America and Trump, to release Nicolas Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela. And everybody is asking, China, you keep telling us about this. You had a parade the other day. You were telling us about these weapons that you guys have that can like flatten them, America like this. Why are you not reacting? And someone said it. He said that China is smart. China, like I just told you now, right? Nobody probably knew that they had signed a deal with Venezuela for the oil, which is part of what pissed Trump off. And the fact that they are not trading in the US dollar, they are using the yuan. That pisses him off. And the fact that they're going to bully everybody else except a superpower like China. As I say, vessels from China are flowing freely between Venezuela and China, collecting the oil from their deal. And as far as I'm concerned, this is what Orange is trying to disrupt. I've got a comment here. I wonder who it is from. Mazwai for like, oh lordy. Ungakulinguza apha nela ndika wena ke Mazwai. No Photoshop usincede, please not namhlanje. Because kakhulu my boy, it's been a long time. Mazwai Vakleka. Dibana naye kumhlobo we-NFM many moons ago. Made his name with his brand. Go follow him on social media platforms. Go Facebook. Crazy, but all about fun. Thank you so much for tuning in, my brother. Yeah, if you have an opinion as well, it will be right there. So make sure that you share whatever you would like to share. So it's anticipated. China, when are you really doing something about this? Right? Russia, you keep talking, but you're not doing anything. So, South Africa, niza kwenza njani nino Mam Angie? Like, how are you gonna do this thing, nino Mam Angie? Xa kuzothatha cupcake up eMzansi. Right? So that's us. It's like, shut up. Derko, please, no more statements. Minister Lamula, no more statements. But it is a general thing in the world that like countries, when events of such huge magnitude takes place and threatens the sovereignty of countries, which threatens world peace, right? Because everybody is saying like we're waiting for World War III anytime. Touch China one more time and see what the fuck happens. Okay. So there are all of these things. So countries are expected to have an opinion on issues. But coming to South Africa and how diverse we are with the GNU, everybody's on some like, okay, cool. Singenaphi thina singumZantsi Afrika? Well, singena somewhere. You have to pick a side. And, we said that, like, we are not going to be enemies of China and not trade with China when they're giving us good deals just because we are smiling with Donald Trump today. It has to be business, guys. That's how it works. Right? Yeah. But anyway, not only does he say that we're gonna run Venezuela up until we feel that there is a person who can, you know how it gets. But guess what? He's now threatened. Guys, I give up on this guy. I give up on Trump. Now he goes on to Colombia. Hey, Colombia, you also have drugs. And the Colombian president was like, nigga, you playing marbles. If you think you're gonna do what you did to Venezuela, we came up together. We developed our countries together. We are siblings, in Latin America, in the south of America. So what you've done in Venezuela, I don't think you're gonna do it to us. Well, I guess the Venezuelan president was saying the same thing up until he was not saying it anymore. In 30 minutes, Trump came in, whisked him out. And there's also the reaction from the people of Venezuela, which is crazy. They say about, I think, 8 million people have fled Venezuela since this guy Maduro took over. Now Trump is doing all of this for the good of the world, for the good of the good people of Venezuela, so that they can have prosperity. They can give us the oil. We'll give them a few cents. But yeah, very interesting, man. Times we live in. Yeah, so if you have an opinion about that, like what's the real reason? Because mine, it's basically two things. Trump has to pay back and please the people that got him to be president, right? These are people that are sitting in the military industrial complex. These are former generals who now have companies that manufacture guns and bullets that sell to America and all the other people. That industry alone brings in billions upon billions. That is why I say every American president, it's almost like when they get sworn in, as like promise that you are going to go on war. If you think about it. Is there an American president that hasn't gone on war, invaded a country? Because they have to shoot those bullets. They have to come back and make those bullets and then sell them back those bullets. So Trump, as far as I'm concerned, is singing to those people's tunes because they are part of the people that put him on. He is, of course, a power monger, wants to be known as powerful, the greatest. That's why you find the Kennedy Center now being changed. It's going to be what Trump Kennedy Center and all of these things, right? Because he wants his name out there, campaigned enormously, crazily for him to be given the Nobel Peace Prize. He stopped. I went to the Ukraine and I spoke to Putin and, the war is going to be over. The war is still going on. Israel, Iran. So power wants to be remembered as a powerful president. He also loves money. That is why BRICS is going to be held in a resort that is owned by Donald Trump in the United States of America this year. Right? This is the same guy who is going to be whose country is going to be hosting the the FIFA World Cup. He's been given some prize that people picked up. I don't know where. That's all about peace. And immediately after that, he is already ruling out countries that are not going to get visas. So basically, whether your country qualifies to go play in FIFA, well, you might play into an empty stadium because your country is not allowed a visa to come to the United States of America. And people ask, when these happened in places like Russia, I think it was the Olympics, they were banned immediately. When these happened in other countries, things like this invasion, what does it mean? Is it going to be safe for you to go to a World Cup in the United States of America with so many people that are angry at it for violating nations? Are you going to be safe? Well, we have to leave that. There's so much. Guys, I said I don't want to take too much time. Oh my gosh. It's already 25 to. We just move on. I hear you there, Mazwai. I'm not going to, sir. Thank you so much, my brother. So we move on, man, to another story that is very interesting. Very South Africans have been busy this December. And I think a lot of it has to do with people having fun, people being mikiti, people with all sorts of celebrations and all kinds of things. But we are talking about South Africans who are still triggered by crime. And one thing that has proven to help with crime, fighting it, it has been the phone on your hand. And we've come across a gang of stories where South Africans are being what we got trained in, community journalism, where the people take it upon themselves to tell their stories. Yes, we've got funny stories. We've got comedians and all kinds of people. We'll laugh every now and then on TikTok and all of these other spaces. But we also do get people that say that there is a crime being committed in my neighborhood. And they post that on social media platforms. And follow-ups are being done. And it's all fun. I love how South Africans are, man. It's like, yeah, Mapolisa, we've given you the name of the person. Yeah, we've given you where he lives, where he works. Go do your job. All you need to do is arrest. And obviously, this comes after last year, July, when Mkwanazi said that Aishkubi, and we ended up with a Madlanga Commission and learning that the very same people that we are trusting to serve and protect us have some infighting. They're fighting for positions. They are colluding with criminals and stealing billions and billions and billions from South Africans. It's a very interesting one. It's a very crazy one, if you ask me. As a result, I've picked up one of those stories. You must remember the story of this guy. Let me just give you a clue there. Phone thief caught. Social media users help identify suspect. Do you remember this? I'm going to play you a little bit of it because it's very traumatizing, I'm sure, for a lot of people.
Hey, sabapikile abo Mr. and Mrs. Sabapikile. Askisi. Yeah! Yeah! Hayibo! It's telephone. Mina ngithi uyagijima uyangena. Uphamlile ne? I thought just because useduze. No, Yena, they came different.
There you go. This is what happened in Brooklyn, here in Pretoria. Guy snatched his phone. South Africans go on social media platforms. Hey, is that taking at Ben Kenda's born? Hey, la cutting at Ben Kenda born. They saw him in a couple of other places. And apparently this was one of the pictures. Yeah, he was caught on. Probably sold the phone and now using a Jägermeister as a phone from the money that he sold it for. This is what South Africans did. That's not the only story. Eventually, they capture him. And I like this little tiny interview. I'm not going to play all of it when he was captured.
They want to know, but why were you snatching other people's cell phones? Kuyenzani loo nto leyo?
Le nto leyo wawuthi mina ede ngiphuzile yabo so bengifuna ngiyazama ukuthi ngihlanganise
Ngiyazama.
yebo cha
Kubantu uthi uthetha la ma-phones koma ePretoria nakoma-Joburg nguwe lo?
hayi mina evarini mina ngispanele ePitori sengile mina
Usepretoria wena?
yebo
ePretoria?
Yeah, la-
Kuma-Brooklyn?
yebo
Ya ngobani amanye amajita laphayana what doing it? Uyabona ke wena inkinga izayo one izathi mawungena ebejozi le kunamanye amaphoyisa eJMPD kuthiwa i-TRU. Uyabona lawa nakudubula ndangadlali leziyana.
yebo
Uyabona even namanje bekufuneka ukuthi siye saphuma from lapho because ubutrenda too much on TikTok. Kwathi noni ingathi kunenkinga la iseTshwane. Siyabona siyasebenzisana ke Tshwane.
ngiyayithola
Uyabona ba?
yebo cha
Yeah. So manje uzafuneka usinike bonke abanye abantu.
So, but anyway, this was them sitting with him on some like, hey, dude, like, snika abanye abantu kwenzela uba sikhulule and stuff. I don't know whether I can track it.
Xenophobia. Yabona.
ngiyayigcina thama la
So he was asked into yobana ungowaphi. No, mna ndingowase-Zimbabwe nase-Eastern Cape. I knew he was lying when he was asked a very simple question, where do you live? And he was like, mna time. Yabona ke baf. Yeah. Look, if you get asked where you live by a policeman, you better know the first time. If you're gonna go, you're lying. But anyway, that's how that cookie crumbled. You got caught. And people used social media platforms. And here's another story. Just gonna play the video. You will remember during a Mikiti, mama we boy decided ndobana uzawuthi ntshiza. Not just mama we boy. Pito Municipality's deputy mayor. Remember this? So yeah, then she came out. Now people don't understand. We are taking our power as women because we have been powerless. I was showing power. And by the way, that was not a real gun. That was a toy gun. Yeah, sure. Songas ngabasemsobo yo, banbasemsobo mfazan. But anyway, like really? And other videos came where he shot the gun, and then after that, she handed it over to her protector, bodyguard, whatever you call them. In a country and a province that has an issue with guns, and you come out and you tell us nonsense about the reason why you did it? But guess what? We would have never known about this. It took social media platforms to make sure that like it gets followed up. She gets taken to task. And the last on those ones, the power of social media. Right here. Ebuhlanti, Eastern Cape, East London. Poor security guy sees these guys who are blocking these ladies that want to drive out, gets called. Guys, you can't park on the curb. Please, do you mind moving your car? And that was the response. Guys on duty, guys, probably a husband and a father, and the kids, his kids are going to see him on social media platforms like that, being violated while he's on duty. Guess what? Social media platform says, hey, hold on. And people fetch them. The parent company that he works for is subcontracted by another subcontractor and all of that. The parent company says, hey, we are dealing with this matter. South Africans, don't worry. We've got this. This does not align with our policies and how we treat people, and how violence is not our thing. Over a moment of being stupid, of feeling like you've got a brand new car, you're showing it off, you want to impress these girls, you violate somebody else's rights, and guess what? Social media platform said no. As a result, we know what happened with that story. They got charged, they got tracked down or found and all of that. But I bring this up because it is very important for us to use social media responsibly. And in us using social media platforms responsibly, it is not violating other people's rights, And a warning that has come from experts in the social media platform stuff. That's okay. Take the video, but do not post it on social media platforms. Because if I post as Slyso or come across something, post it on social media platforms, I don't know what that person might do if they track that and find me. So when you come across a crime that's being committed, you capture it with your cell phone. Take it. I know it's a hard pill to swallow. Take it to the nearest police station and let the police handle it. All right? So that's the biggest warning that comes with, as much as these yielded results, these 3 stories I've just played you, but let's make sure that we do that responsibly. Let's also make sure that we are safe when we do these. Okay? But yeah, we move on, man. We move on. Oh my gosh, we go to another story that's very interesting. In fact, before we even get there, social media platform people are just crazy. You guys are just obnoxious. 2 oil tycoons taken before their time. If you know, oil tycoons. I'm just going to leave it there. Sorry, I'm going to be one of those people who's like, trying to explain a joke. But yeah, you get it. And some people were saying, it's too soon. The guy just got captured just the other day. We love Puffy and all. But it's like, hey, they're all tycoons. Okay. That's just a joke. But anyway, the biggest that I don't even know where to begin. I'm just gonna play what started it all, the last story. And this is exactly where I really would like your opinion, where I really would like you as a South African to have something to say, because people have been saying that like South Africans act like they're angry, but like they are not angry enough. We've been saying that when we see these things. It's like, how can a person say that I disbanded? No, I did not disband immediately. No, I went to go sleep there because he offered me a place to sleep. And you know me, I'm no longer in government. Now I have to. You've got Woolies bags. You've got all kinds of things. And we're like, when is the law going to? And people have been saying South Africans are not angry enough. This got South Africans under the collar. Thank you. The interview was on the South African Broadcasting Corporation, SABC. That's who owns this video, by the way. Yeah, let's disclaim.
Now over 70. I've never had a government looking for a job for me. You know that? Never. I went to Teba, I took a contract, went to the mines, worked as a miner, went back home, bought cattle, bought sheep, went back to the mines, and I did that. The difference is that today, because there's a progressive government, people expect that government to go and give them jobs. They don't look for jobs. And that must change. I'm sure to be here in SABC yourself, you look for an advert, you applied, you got into SABC. Not the SAB looking for you.
SABC.
You looked for a job and you got employed. And people must begin to appreciate that you do queue up for a job, you get employed, adverts are not going to employ you. You will have to look for the advert and apply in real terms. If you don't do that, you're not going to be employed. And I'm going back to the point I made. Let's move out of being a passive society to be an active society.
In a nutshell, Gwede Mantashe, who's 70 this year, has made it clear he's not going back to structures or whatever within the African National Congress. Says that you, with your certificate, with your degree, with your experience, with your skills, you're not just gonna get a job just because you are sitting there. Because I went to Deba and worked in the mine and then bought cows and then took them back. I've never gotten a job from that. So you mean, in other words, we are saying you people need to be proactive. Guess what? Here's a response.
Vulnerable South Africans. What an insult. What an insult from Utatu Gwede Mantashe. Imagine for him to have the audacity of saying people are not applying. You are not going to get a job if you are not applying. What an insult. He went as far as telling us about Tepa. You know, I've never seen, there's something that when we grew up, the old people in my area used to say, Bebe City, indlala inamanyala, inhlutha iyagezisa. That is what this man is doing. The very same Gwede Mantashe is the one umntwana wakhe bekusekuthetheni eParliament kusithiwa nakho umntana wakhe efakwa kwiboard yakwasitha. So, reason why umntana ke befakwa kwiboard, it is because abantu aba-apply. People are not applying. Yo dada, yazi xa ungenanto thetha ubowuthula uvala umlomo. Bowuthula umlomo uvale wona. You think that these graduates that are not working, they don't want to work? Do you even listen to yourself? Is it because abakho abantwana balungelwe? Ulibele namhlanje okokuba sowulapho nje ubuvotelwe ngabantu. People voted for you. So I don't blame you in any case. I really don't blame you. I really don't blame you. I blame the vulnerable and the poor people of this country who keep on making a mistake of voting you people in power. Right now you are showing us flames. Imagine to go on national television. Uzothetha lento uyithethayo. Mandi kulungise nje kancinci. Kwalo uku-interviewwayo yena. Kwalo uku-interviewwayo. The time a graduator, abanye bethu babe sebephume kudala ezikolweni. We have been applying kulo SABC, nako Newsroom Africa, nako E-TV. Njengoba ubhizi nje, uhleli apho shem, ungazilibali, usenyelisa abantu graduates okanye abantu abangafuna ukuphangela, usithi abantu abafuna ukuphangela. Ithethe thathi nyani into ba benivotelwe into ba nenzele nini ziqu zenu, not the poor and the vulnerable people of this country. It was all about you. It has always been about you, not about any other person. Wow. Wow. Hey, bathatha abantu bakubeka phezulu. Now awusababoni noba bazintoni na. Asifuna umsebenzi tata. Ikhe yafika kuwo kokuba abanye abantu abanayo ne-access to i-internet, abanayo kwa imali yo-aplaya. Mhlawumbi njengoba ubhizi uthetha kangaka ngale ndlela uthetha ngayo, because kaloku abanye abantu abana-access yemali. Phofu mali leyo ibiwa kwanini, kubiwa imali, nazi izinto zi-exposiwe, kudliwa imali, kuyahlifiswa. So what do you expect the vulnerable and the poor people of this country uba uthi mabayifumane phi imali? Bazayifumana phi imali? Abantu abaphila ku-350 rands bebayi-6 apha endlini bazayifumana phi imali? Abantu abahlala xhegwazana ahlale nabantu babe-8 apha endlini baxhomekeke kule mali. So kuzawuaplaywa njani mhlawumbi? Ngeyiphi le ndlela kufuneka kuaplaywe ngayo? Uyayazi uba iigawuni zabantu ziseziwodrophini zigcwele uthuli. Abantwana babantu kudala ba-aplaya. Hey tata, suthetha into ongayaziyo mani. It's like into ongayaziyo. It's not like into ongayaziyo. Sasihamba ko-GSSC thina, ugraduate ngo-2004. Uquqa ubuyelela phaa eJoburg. Uhambe uyofaka o-Z83. Ubuye no-0 imbali yesikhova. Ungaqashwa. Awuyazi le nto uyithethayo. Awuyazi le nto uyithethayo. Even right now. Zezi positions nizi-advertisayo ni-ANC. Buza wena ke ngoku. The political offices eziphethwe yi-ANC zeziphi ezi jobs nizi-advertisayo, because akho kwa jobs nizi-advertisayo. Nithatha abantu benu nibafake pha. So ni-expect uba abantu baphangele njani? Intloni tata azikho kuwe, azifiki kuwe. Uzawuthetha ngento yoba usixelela ngawe uba wena akho mntu, akho government wakhe waqasha. Tata, ubuvotelwa ngabantu, uhleli kulaa nto ala parliament. So yonke le nto uyithethayo ngoku uyithetha because wena you don't care. Awuzubuyela in any case. For that matter, uyayazi i-ANC is done and dusted.
Ouch. And this is all happening on the eve of the January 8th African National Congress, which is going to be held in Rustenburg. Right? That's what I think the interview was about with Mr. Montash. And this is how it turned out. And that's very disheartening. I've played you about 5 minutes of the response by this lady. I don't even know her, but all I know is that she speaks on behalf of a lot of South Africans. She speaks on behalf of a lot of South Africans. When a person says that as early as 2004, I was busy signing Z83 forms. I think it's a form that you sign when you're applying for a job in government. And these people are sitting at home. These people have been complaining about not getting jobs. These people have been watching politicians living a life of opulence. There's imali. Madlanga commissions, Zondo, Madlanga commissions, they have shown us. When people blatantly walk into a hospital and says, I don't care about the people that are dying, I want a contract. These are South Africans. These are people whose parents entrusted your political party with their well-being, with their welfare, with their lives, with their futures. And to go on national television and say that people are not applying, when we've had a recent case, and a couple of them, where we learned that some people if they want a job or they want to move up in their jobs, they have to sleep with people. They have to pay people. It's done right at the top. So at municipal level, if you want a job in certain places, you know in Dabana you must have 15,000 for you to get the job. There are people who say that in order for me to get this job, kule salary ndiyifumanayo, I have to make sure into yobana ndiyabelana nalo mntu wandinika umsebenzi, uceba okanye ubani bani. And close to 50% of those people are young people. They are qualified. And I ask myself, South Africa is an industrial country. Now let's put everything aside and let's look at young people. And I've always said this, from the year round about the year 2000, Black people, Black kids, Black parents, they sacrificed the little that they had to make sure that they put their kids to school. Bancame yonke into umuntu ebenayo and put their kids to school for them to qualify. And Black kids have been graduating left, right, and center. And the question keeps getting posed. Is what these kids are learning matched with the jobs available? I remember having a conversation with somebody talking about TVET colleges, where people go out there and they get skills to become a plumber, to become an electrician, to become a boiler maker, to become an artisan, all of these things that this country needs. Are we really being fair to young people in South Africa? I'm trying to calm myself as much as possible because I understand the pain. I understand what she's saying. And she's not just speaking for herself. She's echoing what every South African feels. And I stopped it when she was saying in Dokbana, the ANC is done with. You can't even pay your own people. But yet we entrust you with the nation's budget. So, I don't know. Would have been nice to have your opinion at home, your experience of trying to find a job. Obuye Nakanda Somebody's cover because you are not willing to pay to get the job. Whether it is a tender. No, uzayithenga nje toilet paper nentoni. No, in fact, izonibona apha ehotel, interview izawuba sehotel. How do you think people who've had to succumb to such conditions to get a job are feeling about that job? They have to feed their families. They have to feed their parents who can no longer work because the economy is shrinking. Companies are closing left, right, and center. The very same Donald Trump that we talk about closed down and said to some American companies, come home. And people got laid off. We come from Etinaka, where Goodyear closed down. Yes, there's so many factors. There's competition with China coming in with cheaper imports and all kinds of stuff. The parents of these kids that talk here have lost jobs. They've lost hope. They live on 350 and the 750. These kids have no hope. And for you, Tatumandashe, to say that like people are not taking the initiative, I find it extremely disappointing. I find it extremely disappointing. Not just from you being a member of the African National Congress, of being a so-called liberator or struggle hero, whatever they call you, from just being an elder. Uthi umntana wakho ezama umxelele into yokubana you are not awuzame ngokwaneleyo. You're not trying hard enough. You expect things to come to you. Have you ever taken the time to understand what the gig economy is? Where kids say, we don't want to be employed permanently. I want to be able to do this job and go do that job and go do that job. Which comes from opportunities that you should be affording these kids. Which comes from what the president of the country was campaigning on, the 4IR, Fourth Industrial Revolution. Now we have a threat, AI, that's going to be taking jobs. With your accounting degree, now you can just simply punch in your data into an AI app and it does the books for you. Automation is everywhere. Chinese companies are here. Bike. They're automating. If they're not automating, they're getting their own people. Have you been creative enough to make sure that you create jobs that match the skills that the country has? So which means there's another failure from the Department of Education. You are empowering entrepreneurs. Have you done enough? Or you just do enough for you to go take pictures and say, we've given them a new tractor. And it ends there. But anyway, that is it, people. On that sour note. But there's hope. It's the beginning of the year. It's an election year. A lot is going on in the country. You know, I think we really need to be angry enough. We need to have voices like this. Because you cannot say that lady is lying or she's talking about something that she doesn't know. But one thing I can tell you is that from Uttat Mandashe's stance, he's talking about something that he doesn't know, let alone feel. What are these kids concerned about? They're concerned about their future. They go out there and they get degrees. Have you created enough jobs to make sure that when they leave school, when they graduate, come with that piece of paper, there's a job waiting for them? If you've been presiding for over 30 years over a country whose young doctors have to march to Ebisho and other places looking for employment while there are people who are milking billions and billions and billions, and you complain that there is no placement. And I remember the premier in the Eastern Cape saying that the fact that you become a doctor, you're not guaranteed a job. You're not guaranteed placement after you've done your in service. But health is ailing in South Africa. Medicines are leaving South Africa because we have porous borders. We have people that come into the country illegally because they pay somebody at the border. South Africans keep saying we're losing jobs because we have people that are willing to do anything to be here. All they do at the border post, stamp. No one is asking, what are you coming to do? Are you on holiday? Are you coming to contribute to the economy of the country? Just the other day, the Minister of Prisons and whatever was saying there are just too many people that come from other countries that are in our prisons. Anyway, it's very interesting. And talking about that, people that come from other countries. I think it was on Mbuyiseni's podcast that the former president, Thabo Mbeki, was talking about we cannot stop Africans from coming into South Africa. We have to deal. All we have to do is to find out how we are going to make it work. Sharp, I hear you. Are you denouncing people that come from other countries that come here illegally? Are you denouncing the criminality? But here we are. Those are going to the January 8th. Deuces. Like somebody said one day, just like someone was teasing Tatule Ulekota ehleli yedwa garage ebambe January 8th cope. Just make sure it doesn't happen to you. Probably too late for me to pass you that warning. But anyway, people, it's been great. It's been swell. We'll see you next week, where we will have the entire team back and we will start off this year officially, not on sour notes, like Bafana losing, which I said to my wife that, listen, might as well go to sleep because these people, this first 15 minutes that they did not take advantage of and they missed about 3 goals, they are not going to recover. They're going to cry at the end of the day, and that's what happened. But anyway, well done. Hopefully you guys get to go to the United States of America if you guys get visas. Hopefully Trump is not, South Africa is a genocide. Yeah, the next thing, because of tattoo cupcake. Yeah, let's tread carefully. Let's be kinder to each other. Let's be nice. Let's be loving. Let us be willing to learn. Collaboration. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, collaboration should be your word for 2026. You've been trying to do it on your own. Which is very important if you're a startup. You need to be able to set up the lights, set up the camera, and learn how to do it. But in the end, it's going to get overwhelming or the workload is going to get more. Collaborate with somebody who does camera. Collaborate with somebody, like, it doesn't matter. Like, Tunga, get somebody, that can help you with design, that can help you with machine, whatever that's called. Collaboration, if you're an entrepreneur, that's one word I want to leave you with today. And I think the rest of us, one of the things that I picked up is that, like, people and families are going through a lot. Guys, our time on earth is like this. The being fickle, the being petty, the whatever it is that gets you with your family. Fix it. Put pride aside. And when I say this, I'm not just saying this to you. I'm saying it to myself as well. because we are all going through something at work, with family and friends. Let's just make sure we become better people. Let's get this money. Let's think outside the box. Let's realize that the world is small. Why can't I collaborate with the guy that is sitting in Canada, with the guy that's sitting in Kenya, who does the same thing, and see how we can consolidate and decide which market we start with? Oh, yours is, Mzansi is sharp. Let's start with South Africa and then take it to Kenya or take it to Canada or wherever. Collaborations. That's the gig economy. I talk too much. Thank you so much, guys. It's been wonderful. Next week, my team is back. Maybe I'm talking a lot because I'm excited they're coming back. My word. They've been on long holiday. Billy's done with school. Toto is back. And Abu is back as well as from next week. Look out for our promos. Do yonke man lanto batlango iteta. But thank you so much, guys. One love.